Hello my lovelies, it's Sundal from Substance Over Style and welcome to a new video. So I'm coming at you today from my new place. I just moved into this place. It's a little bit of a mess behind me because we literally just moved in last night and we haven't fully unpacked yet. But yeah, it's a much more brighter spot. As you can see, it's a lot more light. We've got a garden and a pool out there, which we didn't have in our old place. So really excited about the next few months because, you know, I've been social distancing a lot and staying at home. So it would be nice to stay in a spot that has a garden. And today what I wanted to bring to you was I wanted to do like a group prayer or a group meditation. We're going to be revoking spiritual contracts. Now this is a really powerful technique that you can use if you're ending a relationship with somebody, like let's say, you know, a breakup or a divorce, or even, you know, you like a friendship, or even like an employer, even a corporation, a client, people who are not honoring their agreements and you want to revoke a certain contract that you made to them. Like a spiritual contract almost. I mean, every relationship that you have, there are contractual agreements in place, and sometimes we're not consciously aware of these contractual agreements. They work on a much more subtle level than the physical. They work on like an energetic level. Revoking those contracts is a really powerful practice. It's even more powerful than if you've heard of cord removal or cord cutting. Like sometimes when you form a relationship with somebody, there forms an etheric cord that kind of siphons your energy and bonds you to that even after the relationship has ended. Now I've done numerous cord removals before when you know, previous relationships that I was in ended, and sometimes the cord reattaches itself, and that may be because you have an unhealthy contract with that person. It's also a really good one to do with your parents. Revoking certain contracts that you have with your parents is a really powerful technique, especially as you move into adulthood, just to basically erase any like toxicity or any traumas that you might have you know, around your relationship with your parents, and then you can go forward and make new contracts and new agreements with them. So it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to end the relationship with them. Now I came across this a couple of weeks ago and I shared it on my Facebook, but I want to share it here as well because it's very powerful when you speak these things, because when you speak, you're basically creating a vibrational resonance. So everything in this universe is frequencies. It's just vibrations and frequencies. Everything is just basically energy vibrating at different frequencies. This chair, this table, this camera, me, it's all just energy, but each one has a different energy signature. So when you speak affirmations or prayers or spells, that's why you spell words, because they're spelled, you're basically creating contracts, or you're severing contracts. You're bringing things into manifestation through the resonance of your speech. I'm not going to go too deep into, you know, how it works on a scientific level. I'm sure you guys can just look at another video if you want to research it further, because I don't want this video to go on too long. So this, now when we do this prayer, which we're going to start shortly, I don't just want you to repeat back. You can say it along with me, or you can just say it in your mind, or you can just hear it in your mind. But what I want you to do in addition is I want you to visualize what it is that you're saying. So, you know, don't just think the words, because words have double meanings, and, you know, our current language system was designed that way, because when, you know, a word has a double meaning, it basically confuses it creates cognitive dissonance, so that it creates a split between the left and the right hemisphere of your brain, and that's how our right brain ended up being suppressed, our intuitive brain that kind of intuitively understands the meaning of different vibrational frequencies, also known as words, but yet we're told that they mean something different. So whatever the word means to you, I want you to visualize either a picture in your mind or a feeling, because that will help you really more effectively revoke these contracts if you actually picture what it is that you are really trying to make happen. Okay, so if that makes sense, so it's 1333 right now. I don't know if you can see that. So that's a number of ascension. I've been seeing loads of it. Okay, so this is from the Andrew Bartzi's Power Declaration, and I'm going to post a link to it in the description box below, so if you want to do it yourself as well, then you can have the words in front of you and you can read along. Okay, so just take a few deep breaths and get into your heart space. Now, I'm going to commence the group declaration for taking back our power. I now state with all the power from my heart that I do not consent to any interaction, covert or overt, with any parts of the broken systems on this world until such time as those who control them come to the fundamental understanding and acceptance of equality, justice, and compassion for all sentient kind. I do not consent to and revoke all connection to all contracts that exist within my past, present, and future in all dimensions and time streams that do not serve the highest purposes of truth, goodness, and love. In the domain of government activities, I make the following declarations this day. I hereby revoke all spiritual contracts that deal with all government personalities, elected and unelected. I do not consent to any form of corporate government that harvests energy from its people. I revoke all spiritual contracts with every branch of government whose actions are out of alignment with the divine plan. I do not consent to the rule of the privileged few. I do not consent to mass propaganda. I hereby revoke all spiritual contracts secretly interwoven into each and every law, past, present, and future. I revoke all rights, duties, and responsibilities in relation to all government systems that write laws that affect my spiritual contracts without my direct consent. I revoke all spiritual contracts that enable the government or the military-industrial complex to dominate and control any person on any timeline or dimension. I hereby revoke all spiritual contracts with the Federal Reserve families. I revoke all spiritual contracts hidden within our government exchange for value systems. I revoke all rights, privileges, and powers assumed and unassumed, consented and unconsented, with every federal law enforcement branch that uses Federal Reserve energy to support the system of domination and control. And wherever they've used the term Federal Reserve, you can also use the term Bank of England or whichever federal bank, not federal bank, corporate bank, operates the same system in whichever country that you are in. I revoke all rights regarding all technologies that alter dimensions, manipulate time streams, or do harm to any sentient life forms coexisting on Earth in all timelines and dimensions. I do not consent to my life force being used for any purpose that does not heal Earth Mother and promote unity consciousness among all sentient kind living and coexisting on our world. I hereby declare that God is now in dominion over all forms of local, national, and global government, interpersonal relations, and galactic relations for all sentient kind. I call forth the angelic realm to record this reading of my free will and ask for the divine assistance so that all sentient kind will understand that our freedom comes with the use of free will at all times, and take the responsibility to use that freedom with wisdom. And just breathe into the heart. Thank you so much for joining me in that. And this prayer comes with the permission to share and use in whichever way. I mean, it should say the full terms and conditions on the link that I will provide. So feel free to share that with your friends and your family. I think the more people that join in tearing up these contracts that we've made with governments, the closer we will get to being able to reclaim our collective sovereignty. Okay, so that's all from me for today. And if you have any questions, anything that you would like me to assist you with, like I've used this technique or similar techniques to revoke contracts with former lovers, partners, anybody that you might be co-parenting with, parents as well. So I can assist you with that if you want somebody to help guide you through that process. The best way to contact me is Instagram. Just slide into my DMs and you can take it from there. Okay, one love, soul fam. See you in the next video.
You're introduced to LSD, and unless you've taken some other drug, like for instance like marijuana or something, it's an altogether new thing, and you actually